going on, guys? We are going to be breaking down the full UFC 317 card. I'm so excited about this video because I've been wanting to do this now for quite a while. I should have done this for UFC 316. I've had a couple of videos, but I haven't done any where I've done predictions for the card. So we're going to be doing the full card, early prelims, then the mid prelims, and then obviously the main card. So I'm very excited for this video. I'm going to try to not make it like super long, but definitely gonna make it. It'll be one of my longer videos for sure. If you like MMA, if you like the UFC, make sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below, who do y'all got? Do you agree, disagree? What's your favorite picks? Let me know down in the comments. And yeah, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Let's get right into this one. For the first fight, we got Janata Denise versus Alvin Hines. I'm gonna be taking Janata Denise. He's just a way more experienced fighter. He has way better striking compared to this Alvin Hines guy who's making his UFC debut. He's coming from LFA. I went to go and try and look up some of his fights, and he's really fought in trash cans. Like, that 7-0 record's kind of inflated, to be honest. This isn't like some good prospect that's coming over to the UFC. If he was a good wrestler, I would give him a very good chance because Denise has horrible takedown defense and has absolutely no wrestling. And his Brazilian jiu-jitsu is terrible, which is crazy because he's, I'm not saying all Brazilian guys have the best jiu-jitsu, but basically from where he's from, he should definitely have a better ground game. But fortunately for him, Alvin Hines does not have great wrestling. He just dives for legs. And I could see, honestly, Denise knocking him out. I think this is a mismatch on the feet. Definitely Denise has a huge advantage in the striking department, and I think he's just going to absolutely wreck Alvin Hines, to be honest. So give me Janate Denise by knockout. All right, time for the next fight. It is Nico Price versus Jacoby Smith. Give me Jacoby Smith to win this one by knockout. This is the typical, the UFC having a very hot prospect, and Nico Price is just terrible. There is nothing good about his game at this point in his career. Up and coming, he definitely looked like he had some promising stuff. But unfortunately, this guy has been knocked out by Philip Rowe. He got knocked out by Robbie Lawler in his Robbie Lawler's retirement fight. He is just terrible. I do not see Nico Price having any chance at winning this. I believe he's 1-3 in his last 4 fights. Going in against a guy like Jacoby Smith, who is coming off of back-to-back knockouts. Granted, one was on the Contender Series, but in his UFC debut, he knocked off Preston Parson. I said knockoff. He knocked out Preston Parsons in the first round, and I could see him getting a second round or even a first round knockout versus Nico Price. I don't think this fight's going to be even close. Jacoby Smith is just a more versatile fighter. He's better all around on the feet, grappling, everything. I don't really have to break this one down. If you guys watch the UFC, you know how terrible Nico Price is, and based off of what we've seen from Jacoby Smith so far, this is a complete mismatch. So give me Jacoby Smith. All right, for the next fight, we have Terrence McKinney versus Vyacheslav Borshev. I could say his last name. His first name is a little bit tricky to say. Vyacheslav, I don't know if I'm saying that wrong. But, however, Terrence McKinney, this is a very weird fight to begin with because Terrence McKinney does not have a great gas tank. And it's really odd to think that in 11 fights, or not odd, but it's really crazy. In 11 UFC fights, he has yet to make it to the 3rd round. So his fights are absolutely insane. I could see him doing very well with level changes, really mixing up the striking with grappling, especially versus Borshev. In 8 of his UFC fights, he's been taken down 30 times. I just don't see him having much success, especially in the ground game, obviously. I can see, though, on the feet, Borshev putting together some really crispy boxing combos, hitting him with the good hooks, hitting him with nice shots to the body. And just really giving some Terrence McKinney some problems, especially if this fight does go a full 3 rounds. Terrence McKinney just doesn't have the gas tank. You see Terrence McKinney getting this done. I just don't feel super confident about it. I could see this fight going either way. But I just think Terrence McKinney is going to do enough to win this fight, and I think this will be the first time we see him go to a 3rd round and go to a decision, which is insane to think about. So give me Terrence McKinney. I don't love it. I could see people taking Borshev, and yeah, he is a dog, but I'm going to play it safe and go with Terrence McKinney on this one. So for the next fight, we have Viviana Araujo versus Tracy Cortez. Now, I think this fight is perfectly stylistically, matchup is, it's literally picture perfect for Tracy Cortez. I just think technically she's just a way better fighter. I don't think she's going to give Vivian the range that she needs to be able to dominate in a fight, especially how she likes to dominate early. I think Tracy Cortez is going to do a very good job at really just making, like, shutting that down. That Tracy Cortez is just going to put her on the cage and just make her work, and I think she's just going to absolutely smother her. So give me Tracy Cortez in this one. I like her to win a decision, a unanimous. I like it like 30-27 all across the boards. Yeah, so I got Tracy Cortez winning this one by decision in pretty much dominant fashion. Manson, sorry, I'm so bad at pronouncing some of these names. And then we have Gregory Robocop Rodriguez. I think Robocop gets this one done by knockout. Jack Hermanson in his last 3 fights has been dropped. He got dropped by Joe Pyfer. He got dropped by Roman DeLunze. He hasn't fought like consistently over the last couple of years, but I just don't think he'll be able to absorb the power from RoboCop. Yes, I get it. RoboCop's coming off a loss over Jared Cannonier, but however, that fight early on, if you guys remember that fight early on, RoboCop looked like he was going to finish Jared Cannonier. And the fact that this is a 3-round fight and not being a 5-round main event or fight night 5-round fight, I think that favors RoboCop 100% because his cardio is going to be able to stay up for 3 rounds, and I think he's just going to be able to finish Jack Hermanson. He doesn't have the reach advantage. Jack Hermanson definitely has the reach advantage. He has the height advantage, though, but I just think he's going to drop Jack with just a right, and I don't think he's going to be able to absorb it like the other guys have been able to. I just don't. I see RoboCop just being able to put him away really, really bad. I got a second-round knockout in this one. All right, now time for the main card. We have Peyton Talbot versus Felipe Lima. I'm going to be rolling with Felipe Lima. I just think Peyton Talbot showed his last fight was very concerning. This guy got taken out 8 times by Ronnie Barcelos. Felipe Lima hasn't lost a fight in literally literally in 10 years, since 2015. And it was his very first professional fight as an MMA fighter. He's coming off a win versus Miles Johnston. I think that he's just the more complete, more versatile fighter and just all around just completely better. Another thing, he's just more hungry. Like Peyton Talbot, like he seems like he's just okay. Like it's cool. Like fighting's just something that's dope. Oh, I'm in the UFC. But I don't think he's striving to be a champion. Like I think Felipe Lima is dreams, eats every day, hungry. He has that drive. He wants to be a champion. And I know people are going to say, oh, that doesn't matter when it comes, but the thing is he's already a better fighter. Like he is. Felipe Lima is hands down a better fighter than Peyton Talbot on the feet, on the ground. Maybe not in the striking department. Maybe that's a little bit much, but I think that's pretty close. But when it comes to grappling and being a good wrestler, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, they're not even in the same atmosphere. They're not in the same planet. So therefore, I'm taking Felipe Lima, and the hunger does play a part in this one for me, man, because I just don't think Peyton Talbot cares that much. I mean, he was a minus 600 favorite, guys. We have to remember, like, he was a minus 600 versus Ronnie Barcelos, who is old and washed up. Like, I just don't understand how anybody could. Like, Ronnie Barcelos, cool. He's coming off a win versus what now? He just beat Cody Garbrandt, but I'm sorry, especially if you're somebody like Peyton Talbot with all the hype that he had for him to lose that fight. How am I expecting him to lose to Ronnie Barcelos and then all of a sudden be able to beat Felipe Lima in a 3-round fight? This is not going to happen. I'm taking Felipe Lima all day, so give me Felipe. All right, time for the next fight. We have Beneil Dariush versus Renato Moicano. This is going to be very interesting. I think both of their grappling X's each other out because they are both very, very good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighters. They're both very good grapplers. So I do think that's going to X each other out. I do think Moicano is better on his back than Beneil Dariush. However, I do think on the feet, Renato Moicano has the advantage. And also, Beneil Dariush, we have to remember, guys, he's coming off of back-to-back knockout losses. Granted, it was versus Charles Oliveira and Arman Sarukian, but, like, I just don't know what kind of damage that is going to do for him. I mean, we saw Volk, obviously, but he's a different level than, but it's not even the different level of a fighter, come off of, like, back-to-back knockout losses and then obviously come back and win. But, like, that's Volk. Like, he's a one-of-one. So I just don't think Beneil Dariush, I honestly think, like, I'm really concerned. I don't think he's going to be the same fighter that we were accustomed to seeing before he ran into Charles and he went on that crazy win streak. So give me Renato Moicano. I could see him getting a finish in the second round. Yeah, so I'm going to take Renato Moicano by second round finish. All right, time for the next fight. My most excited fight I am for the main card is Brandon Royval versus Joshua Van. Joshua Van, man, I got to give this guy credit. He's fought 5 times. Bro, this is going to be his 5th fight in the last, I want to say, going to the end of 20. Bro, he's fought 5 times in the last year, in less than a year, which is absolutely insane. This is a very tough fight, dude. I've been going back and forth on this one for a while. I was initially going to take Joshua Van because he's just rolling right now and he's just on fire. And I do think his boxing is a lot better than Brandon Royval. He's way more technical on the feet. He's not as uncoordinated and just as wild as Royval is on the feet. He's a way more technical boxer, and he has really, really good body shots, very, very good body shots. I think his body shots are the best in the lightweight division, or excuse me, not the lightweight, in the flyweight division. But unfortunately, I just think Brandon Royval is going to win this one just based off of experience. I think he's going to have success with his teeps. I think he's just going to be able to control the distance and make sure Joshua Van can't close the void. And I think this will be a 3-round decision win for Brandon Royval. He just has the experience. He's been in there with the best of them. He's fought Pantoja twice. He's been in there with a lot of good guys in the flyweight division, which I think outside of welterweight is the best division in the UFC. And I just think this is just a step up too soon for Joshua Van. I could be wrong though. He could beat Brandon Royval, and definitely I wouldn't be shocked either way this fight goes. But I'm just gonna lean with the vet with experience, and I just think Royval is gonna find a way to win this fight by decision and not be able to stop Joshua Van from having so much success on the feet and be able to keep him at bay and be able to just land shots and just be able to win on the scorecards. I do think Joshua Van has a chance to get more damage, but it's a toss-up. And I know I'm saying this and I'm feel like I'm selling more so Joshua Van, but I'm leaning Brandon Royval because of just the experience of the guys he's been in the octagon with. And I think he's going to have a very good game plan and be super disciplined and just try to get this fight to the scorecards and just win on the points. So give me Brandon Royval. I don't love it, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to take Royval, man. All right, now for the co-main event, we have Alexandre Pantoja versus Kai Kara-France. I'm going to be taking Pantoja to win this one. I could see him winning by decision or getting a late 4th round submission. A lot of people are taking Kai Kara-France. His striking is definitely very, very nice. And in the first couple of rounds, which I think he will, obviously, I think Pantoja will be able to weather that initial storm that Kai Kara-France likes to, start off his fights. But the thing is with Kai Kara-France is his takedown defense is absolutely terrible. And Pantoja on the feet, he is super sporadic and just he's wild. He's I can't really explain it, but if he just drops him, he's just going to be able to get Kai Kara-France's back and be able to sub him. But not only that, Kai Kara-France likes to pull punches when he's going up against high-level grapplers. He's not so very sure in throwing his combinations like he likes to versus strikers because he knows the threat of him getting taken down, especially versus Pantoja, which I think will make his striking not as effective. So I could definitely see Pantoja winning this one, obviously, by decision. And also, too, we got to start putting respect on Pantoja, man. This guy is ranked number 9 on the pound-for-pound list. It's absolutely nuts. This is going to be, his 4th title defense. He's wiped out the top 10. I think he's undefeated against the top 10 in the flyweight division. He's 9-0. I just don't like the Pantoja disrespect, and I just think, again, he's going to show everybody why he's building the resume of being the flyweight, being the flyweight GOAT. All right, time for the main event. We have Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira. I'm going to be rolling with Charles Oliveira to get this one done by a 4th round submission, or he's going to get this one done by decision. I know nobody thinks that's going to happen. Nobody believes in a decision in this fight. Everybody thinks it's going to be an early finish, but I do think because both of these guys know how dangerous the other one is, that the first couple rounds might be kind of slow, but the way their fighting styles are obviously suggests not, because Ilia likes to stalk down his opponents. Charles doesn't fight on the back foot. He likes to go in his Muay Thai stance. He demands the center of the octagon. He's going to get Ilia in the clinch. It's going to be a car accident. Make no mistake about that when those two meet in the center of the octagon. However, I do think Charles when in the scrambles is going to be able to just take Ilia to the ground, and I think he's going to do a really good job. I think this could turn into a grappling match in which I think Ilia's grappling is very, I don't want to say overrated, but people believe that he's like this insane Greco-Roman, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, like he's Islam when it comes to grappling, which he could very well be, but his size and just we haven't seen enough of it. I gotta see it to believe that his grappling is that level. And with Charles, we have seen that he's the best. He's the best Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu MMA fighter in the world. I mean, there's nobody better. Charles has every single submission you could think about. And I just think if Charles takes this fight to the ground, which I do think he will, and also, too, I do think he'll be fine on the feet. I think he's going to do a very good job with those teeps, being able to keep the distance, making sure Ilia just can't close in and throw those big overhand rights and just be able to just set up those crazy combos to the body, and then just he's not going to be able to do that versus Charles. I think Charles is going to have a very good game plan. You know, he's going to be very, I think people aren't ready to see this type of Charles. I think people are very much sleeping on him because we've seen him get dropped. But the thing is, I just don't think they realize it. I don't mean to like kind of yap instead of like breaking it down, but it just comes from a passion because I love both of these fighters too. I don't have anything against Ilia. I'm not being biased at all. It's just I feel like people don't remember, like, bro, Charles got dropped by Dustin Poirier. Charles got dropped by Michael Chandler. Charles got dropped by Justin Gaethje, and he went on to win all of those fights. So I don't know what is different about, Ilia is just going to be able to have so much more power at 155 that if he drops Charles, he's just going to flatline. He's just going to, it's over. Like, I just don't see that happening. Like, Ilia's got to prove it at 155 that power is going to be able to transfer. And yes, obviously he already has a fight at 155 versus Jai Herbert, and it's one of the most vicious knockouts you're going to see. But Jai Herbert, respectfully, he's not on the same stratosphere as Charles Oliveira. And Max Holloway and Alexander Volkanovski have very different fighting styles than Charles. And I just think Charles, his fighting style is super chaotic, and it's not like Ilia's not going to be able to do what he likes to do, stalk on the back foot and just kind of ease his way and just kind of like read his opponents, because that's what he's very good at doing. Like versus Max and Volk, he was able to just settle into the fight, not kind of rush into it, kind of get a read, and then by the third round, boom, 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 he goes. I don't think he's going to be able to do that because he's not going to be able to get Charles on the fence, which all of his finishes all come from his opponents being on the fence and pushing forward and putting that pressure on him. Charles isn't going to be like Charles. Like I said, this is going to be a car accident. They're going to meet in the center of the octagon. Charles with his teeps is going to be able to keep good distance. In the clinch, he's going to be able to have really good knees. And like I said, in the grappling exchanges, we just haven't seen enough of Ilia's grappling for me to believe that he's going to be able to go toe-to-toe with Charles in that department. So therefore, I'm going to take Charles to get this one done by submission in the fourth round, or to win this one by decision in a very close one, 3-2. Is there a chance that obviously Charles gets chinned? Would I be surprised? No, I would not be surprised. Ilia's, obviously there's a reason why he's a huge favorite. There's a reason why, Ilia's very, very good. But the value won, and just I think that just the disrespect, I think this is just we're gonna see a Charles, like we're gonna see the Charles that we saw go on that championship run one more time, because I think people, I don't know what it is, they just think he's completely washed up for some reason, when it's like, bro, he lost to Arman, who Arman was going to fight for the belt, and we already know what happened with that fight. If that's a 5-round fight, I believe Charles Oliveira wins. So, and everybody believes Arman is this insane. I think Arman's very, very good. I don't want to like discredit him, but like everybody, like, they love Arman and think he's amazing, but he kind of literally he could have lost to Charles if that was a 5-round fight. I truly believe that. That guillotine was the craziest thing that anybody's ever broken off, but props to Arman. People are going to think I'm such a Charles Glazer, but I just think people are so much sleeping on Charles Oliveira, and I like his chances when he's this big of an underdog, man. So give me Charles by a fourth-round submission to get this done, or TKO, or by decision. But I'm taking Charles Oliveira to win this fight. I think it's going to be very, very good, and but thank you for watching. Hopefully y'all subscribe, and this should be a good one, man. This should be a good one. I'm super excited for UFC 317. Comment down below who do y'all got, and let me know, comment down below what videos you guys want to see next. I really appreciate it. I'm out.